Hi, this is Ron from houselove.org, and that's Jill, my partner behind the camera. Today we're going to show you how to rewire a floor lamp. This is an old floor lamp from about 1930-35. It's called a Torch-Share. Doesn't matter how old or new your lamp is. They all work pretty much the same. So we're going to show you how this one works. So let's go ahead and start taking this apart. And the first thing you want to do on most floor lamps is take off the switch. So here's the switch. It just screws counterclockwise. You can take it off. Virtually all switches are like this. And so we put this aside. And then as you see, if you pull back, you see that you can see that all of these pieces turn. So what we're going to do is look underneath here and see how this thing works. And the first thing we want to see is there a screw here, and there's not. So chances are the base just unscrews like this. Right. And there goes the base. And you can see that it's threaded here, and there's just a little pipe underneath here. And so we're just going to set these aside. And as you see the pieces start coming off, it's going to make our lives a lot easier if we cut this. And so we're going to go ahead and cut this. And this base, by the way, is agate. Some of them are marble. Some of them are glass. And it's kind of nice. Okay, so we're taking this part off. Now, of course, the trick is, let's remember which part goes where. So here we have the base, and again, what you can do is you can just simply take a picture of the lamp before you take it apart, and then take a picture of the pieces after you have taken them apart. And you see it's a very simple mechanism. Let's come up to the top here. And you see the wire just goes through this tube, and it screws in to this fixture right here, and there it is. Okay, this is a mobile socket, and this is where our switch went. It's very simple. You see the wire just goes straight in there. We're going to take this apart in a minute. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the mobile light bulb. This huge thing. You can still buy these. They're about $3.50, $4, $5, depending on what year you're watching this video. Okay, if you want to make your life easier, you can get an adapter for conventional light bulb. These are not very expensive. As of this filming, they're less than $5. So you can try that, and then you can use a conventional light bulb. Now, what we're going to do at this point is take this apart. We're looking for two screws. They're recessed screws right there. And right there. And these are distinct from these other screws. These other screws are brass, and they attach the contact plate to the socket. These other screws are recessed. These other two screws, they're silver colored, and those are the screws that attach the mounting bracket to the bottom of the socket. That's what we want to unscrew, just those. And you'll know you're doing it right if the mounting bracket starts to loosen. So let's go after those. And if you look on the bottom, you'll see this is where the screws go. They're just holding this. This is just holding it in. So that should be coming loose. Okay? So, okay? And there you go. And you'll see that that's all we have. So we just took off the mounting bracket. Now what we're going to do is unattach the old wire and attach the new wire. But before we do that, let me show you another kind of socket that's more common and that you will probably have on your lamp. And what you'll see is a threaded bottom here, and you will have unscrewed this from the pipe, just the way we unscrewed the other one, and then you'll pull this apart. This is what it usually looks like, and sometimes you'll have to take the blade of a screwdriver and just pop that off. And then you have the inside of the socket, like this. You remember, we unscrewed this from the lamp that we're working on, but in this case, it's not necessary. So after we've popped that off, what we have is the actual socket itself. And the only thing we're doing here is you will see two lines connected to this in the same way you see two lines connected to that. This is much older. This is what you'll probably have now on most lamps you'll see. And it's just these two wires. Now,
so they're on the side instead of the bottom.
Yeah, so they're on the side instead of the bottom. Now, thank you, Joe. And what you're going to find is a silver screw and a brass screw, and it will not matter which wire you attach to which screw. That's just the way it works. Okay, so on this lamp, we're just going to take apart these two contacts from the old wire. When you go to your hardware store, you want to ask for lamp wire, and lamp wire is going to have copper. It's going to be plastic covered or rubber covered copper wire. You want the best quality you can get because this is your house you're talking about, and obviously you want this wire to last a long time. Now here's my lamp wire, and what you want to do is get these two apart, just the way we had it in the old wire. Remember what we had here, and then we're going to strip off the ends. That's all we're going to do. So, using a lot of care, just go through the middle where that line is, right? And you just pull them apart, and you can see they're really well encased. Okay, once we have these two wires separated, we want to use our wire stripper. And so what we're going to do is use the largest setting here. And when we're using the wire stripper, you don't want to cut all the way down, because sometimes you'll just cut the whole dang wire. So we're just going to go very slowly working on it and making sure that we get that cut. And I'm turning the wire as I'm cutting it a bit. And once I've got it down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start pulling it like that, and it reveals. It just pulls it right off because it has cut it here. We're going to do the same for the other side. And as you see, there we have it. Now what I like to do is just twist it a bit to keep it from getting messy. Okay. Okay, so we have a stripped wire. We have to run this through our mounting bracket, like so. So we're just going to pull this back. Since these screws tighten clockwise, we have to wrap the wire around it clockwise so that as it tightens, it will move the wire with the screw. And now we do the other one. Okay, before we reattach the mounting bracket to the socket, what we want to do is cover up these contacts. Remember, there was this little piece of cardboard that went in here, and usually they're corroded because they're so old. And what we want to do is use electrician's tape to cover these contacts. And I'm just going to do this. And I like to wrap all the way around for a really good seal. And now we go ahead and reattach these. These are the recess screws here. And we just push those down. And we wait till they engage in the mounting bracket. And that is working. Again. You want these to be tight and snug. Now that we have our new cord attached to our socket, we're going to run all of this through the lamp parts, starting with a cup that holds the socket. And I know that you've taken a photograph of the pieces and how they go in the order in which they go together. So let's put this back together. First step of this process is to go ahead and push this pipe through all the way up and through the cup, and then we're just going to screw the mounting bracket onto the threaded pipe. Okay, the last thing that we need to do is to put a plug on the end of this cord. And remember that when you get your cord from the hardware store, you want to account for the full length of the lamp and then the length of the cord outside the lamp. In this case, probably 4 feet is good. So let's get that plug. All right, here is a plug that is brand new, and it just notches into its sleeve like that. So I'm just taking it apart. And inside, you see we have 2 screws. And so we're going to loosen the screws a bit and run the wire in there. So here's our wire. We run it through the sleeve, and then all we need to do, remember what we did before, is we just separated the 2 strands, like so. And then we're going to attach them to these screws. So we need to strip off the ends. That looks good. Very snug. And now I just reattach the sleeve to the plug. And there we have our plug. So there we have it, our lovely torch share lamp. My name is Ron. Jill is my partner. We are houselove.org. Good luck with your next project. Hi, this is Ron from houselove.org, and that's Jill, my partner behind the camera. Today we're going to show you how to rewire a floor lamp. This is an old floor lamp from about 1930-35. It's called a torch share. Doesn't matter how old or new your lamp is. They all work pretty much the same. So we're going to show you how this one works. So let's go ahead and start taking this apart. And the first thing you want to do on most floor lamps is take off the switch. So here's the switch. It just screws counterclockwise. You can take it off. Virtually all switches are like this. And so we put this aside. And then, as you see, if you pull back, you see that you can see that all of these pieces turn. So what we're going to do is look underneath here and see how this thing works. And the first thing we want to see is there a screw here, and there's not. So chances are the base just unscrews like this. Right. And there goes the base. And you can see that it's threaded here.